viewers, my name's Cara. I am coming to you today from my bathroom because it happens to be the only place with a normal setup with lights, which is just you're sitting on the shelf in my medicine cabinet, because I spent the day yesterday rearranging my space. My Patreon sponsors got a little before image of the space that I was rearranging, and I have not posted the in-progress photos for them yet, but if you're sponsoring me on Patreon, you get some behind the scenes and just little extra things, sometimes pictures, sometimes just insights, things that I don't share on Twitter or whatever else. So they got a little bit of that. Yesterday, I spent hours moving furniture around, moving the clutter. I have a clutter problem. I also learned recently, I was looking at my natal chart again, which if you don't know how to find your birth chart, one of my favorite websites for that is Cafe Astrology. If you type in cafe, like a place where you get coffee, Cafe Astrology birth chart or birth chart calculator, it'll come up. You just fill in your birth information, and if you know the time and the location of your birth, you get your whole chart, and it gives you a lot of information. And I've done it before, but I've been talking about it a lot with other people who didn't know how to find their signs, so I was like, oh yeah, check out this calculator. So I decided to look at mine again and read through all of this stuff. And I learned that, I've read this chart multiple times over my life, but sometimes things don't stick in your memory as well. So the thing that really stuck out to me at the moment was that it is a characteristic of people with moon in Gemini that we have a tendency to really like to change things around a lot, and that we like to start a million projects and never really finish them. That is my life, and if you've been following me on YouTube for any amount of time, you know that is true, and I apologize for that as far as it affects you. It is something that I am now aware of as being a lunar Gemini quality, and yesterday was the full moon in Cancer, which I learned from one of my Cancer friends that the full moon in Cancer and Cancer in general is a very kind of homebodying, prettying up your house, nesting type of sign. So like halfway through rearranging my entire half of my apartment yesterday, I realized that it was like my moon in Gemini energy also blending in with the full moon in Cancer nesting energy that made me get up in the morning and totally ignore the to-do list that I had set for the day, because I was like, ooh, I finally have the motivation to rearrange stuff and finally move the furniture and finally get my space in order, so I better do that today while I have the energy. So thank you, full moon in Cancer, for that. Also, I'm just now realizing that I kind of dove right into this video and didn't really give you any kind of introduction. So I want to try to do a video every week, as I've been trying to do for a while, and I have been sometimes very successful at that, sometimes less successful at that. But I posted a video last week. Also, I just checked my comments, and I want to say thank you to the person who, in the comments of my previous video, told me that I was pronouncing the name of the witch incorrectly. I had never heard it said out loud before, because I am Italian, but I did not grow up with the story of this witch, so I had only read it, and the websites don't give you a pronunciation. So the emphasis is on the middle syllable. It's Befana. So thank you very much to the person who told me that I was saying Befana incorrectly the entire previous video. I'm sure that was really obnoxious to you, knowing the pronunciation, hearing me say it incorrectly so many times. So thank you very much. So for everyone who saw that previous video, I'll probably add a note to it. It's Befana, not the way I was saying it. So anyway, I want to make a video this week, and I've been working with a lot more just kind of intuitive energy work folks, right? I've been drawn to new communities of people, meeting new people, learning new things from new people. It's really awesome. And so I've been encouraged to kind of just every day say, okay, Spirit, what do you have in store for me today? Spirit, universe, God, goddess, whatever it is for you, angels, guides, whoever you work with. And so today I said, what do you have in store for me for this video this week? What do you want me to share? What am I being called to share? What should I talk about? Because there are, again, moon in Gemini, and also I think just me as a person, a million things that I want to talk about at any given time, but I also really like to hold back for the perfect time to talk about them. So I'm like, oh, there's like 12 things that I could talk about, but what should I talk about today? What's the right thing to talk about today? So the thing that I got was just to give you an update about what I'm doing and to not hold back the major thing that I would normally save for you, because I'm a perfectionist and I think this may be my sun in Leo. For those of you who aren't into astrology, just ignore the parts where I'm even talking about that and listen to the part where I'm telling you that me as a person, I am a perfectionist. I like to wait until things are really darn close to perfect before I ever put them out there. And as a result, I think that really contributes to the fact that I start so many things but never finish them. Because I get all these ideas, I have all these creative explosions, but I don't feel that they're perfect and ready. They're not complete, they're not ready to share. So I don't put them out there. So people think that I'm just forgetting about them or that I'm being lazy. I'm actually working on a million things all the time, just very slowly, until I feel that the right time comes up. So what I'm getting today was, don't even wait to take your shower first. Like, leave the messy bun that's been in your hair for 2 days and the t-shirt that you've had since junior high school that you reconned that you've been wearing for 2 days. I slept in this. And just make your video. Tell people what you need to tell them. Don't leave out the big thing that they need to know. And then also try to fit in that other thing about energy work that you've been wanting to talk about. I don't know if I'll be able to actually work that into this video, but I got both of those things. So what I need to tell you, I've already started telling you, right? So I spent yesterday cleaning out my space, and that feels so much better. On the one hand, I recognize that I could also potentially use that kind of thing as an excuse, right? So a lot of times, and I know I'm not the only one, a lot of you may have this issue as well, we say, oh, we really have all this work to get done, but I need to clean the house first. I can't do it if the house isn't clean, or I have to do the dishes first, I have to take a shower first, I have to walk the dog first, I have to take the trash out first, then I can sit down and do this big epic thing that I really need to do. But, oh wait, I should probably call my grandma and chat for a little bit first, and then I'll do it. Sometimes when it's things like doing the dishes or cleaning the house or taking a shower, it really can be this kind of, if I don't feel good, if I look around and I see clutter, I don't feel right and I don't feel like I can work efficiently. So that is a real thing for people. Like, if your workspace is not in a good way that you like it to be, you can have trouble working. So that is real, but I also feel like it can sound like we're using that as an excuse, if I just sit around and say, oh, I'll get to it, but I have to clean the house before I do it, and I haven't had the motivation to clean the house yet. So until I have the motivation to clean the house, I will also not do these other things. That is totally just putting it off as an excuse. And I've been in a really horrible place for months now. I've mentioned struggling a lot with anxiety and depression, which again, I know I'm not alone. I know a lot of you struggle with that too. And I thankfully have gotten a kick in the butt recently, and while that stuff still comes up, I'm doing a lot of work on releasing that. And I know you can never fully make it go away. You don't always have full control over these things. Sometimes when it comes up, you just have to feel it. The only way out is through, as some people will say. You can't avoid it, you can't bypass it. You have to feel through that stuff. So I'm not saying that that is invalid, but I've been having a lot of really good energy, I've been having a lot of motivation, and working a lot on these things. So I did that. Give me 1 second to follow my train of thought. Okay, so that's one thing that I really have been meaning to do for a long, long time, is to clean my space, because I just look around and I'm like, I know it's wrong, but it's wrong. I know that it feels wrong to me, but I have been working on other stuff in between and just putting that off. So yesterday I got the motivation to do it, so I did it. I spent the whole day doing that instead of the other work I needed to do, and part of me felt bad for not doing the things that I really also needed to do that I wanted to do that day, but you gotta take that motivation when you have it sometimes, and it really does feel so much better. My space out there now, which you'll see in a future video, because obviously I'm just in the bathroom today, nothing has changed in the bathroom except the shower curtain has changed, which you never see anyway. This is my wintry seasonal shower curtain. I only have 2. I have one for the wintry half of the year and one for the springy half of the year, and I'd like to have 4 seasonal ones eventually. That's the only thing that's changed in here. But anyway, it feels a lot better. There's a lot more space. There's a lot of flow. I left space behind some of my furniture that's near the walls, specifically thinking, oh, my cat, when she wants to avoid people, can now go against the wall, and her food is over there, and it's a straight line to her litter box, and she's got I even want to put a curtain up. I want to make a little space for her, because my cat has anxiety too, and she's afraid of anyone but me, and it took a little while for us to bond as well. So I was just really keeping her in mind as well. And yesterday when I was done and finally sat down to actually feel okay, does this feel good? How do I like this arrangement? And realized that it started feeling good. My cat came out and was like running around and exploring everything, and she had a blast running underneath all the chairs and everything, because usually they're so full of clutter shoved everywhere, and now all that's gone. So now all of the energy is really flowing really well, and it's awesome. Now that does mean that the clutter is all sitting in piles right now, and I have to do a lot of decluttering work over time, and I still have to do the other rooms in the apartment, but it's a lot of progress, and I'm really loving it. So what I was told to do today is tell you what I'm doing. And I'm already having some fear come up around this, but I have to say, I was just looking at comments, and I've told you guys this before, like when I'm afraid that there's going to be some negative comments that are going to make me feel really bad, I won't read the comments a lot. But ever since I got the apps on my phone that allow me to see those things easily, and I don't have to wait and like turn on my laptop, because my laptop's really old, so it's really slow, so it does take a while. I know, it totally sounds like a stupid problem, because compared to years ago, things were so much slower, and now everything is so fast, we expect so much. But it's an old computer, so it takes a little longer, and when I'm like dreading what's happening, it's not worth the wait, you know? But I've been keeping up on comments more, and they haven't been bad, and I have been encouraged by that, and I've really enjoyed connecting more with people closer to the time that you're actually talking to me and hearing from a lot of you, and I want to do more of that. So I was reading the comments before this, and I was just absolutely amazed by the amount of support and love that a lot of you are choosing to share with me right now that maybe you've been feeling for a long time but never actually expressed. But I've gotten a lot of comments recently. A lot of you have reached out to me privately on Facebook and messaged me about these things, and you know, it's kind of unexpected and this, okay, again, I'm going the astrology route, but I was reading my chart, and it's a thing about solar Leos, people whose star sign, their sun sign is Leo, that we really need the like verbal appreciation. Like it said, one of the worst things that you could do for a solar Leo is to make them feel like you don't appreciate them. And it's not that people make me feel like you don't, but it definitely is something that I have going on in my head, where if people aren't saying it, I don't necessarily notice it or feel it, and I kind of forget that it exists. One story that comes to mind is when I put a lot of effort into one of my costumes to go to the medieval fair a few years ago with my, at the time, partner. I put a lot of effort into this outfit. I felt like I looked really cute. I thought I looked really good, and I was excited to go out and like strut my stuff, basically. And I was with my partner at the time, who was just wearing a t-shirt, but it was a nerdy t-shirt. I believe it was something to do with Star Wars. And my partner got so many compliments on that t-shirt that day, and no one said anything about my outfit. And I remember saying to them at the end of the day, or they were saying like, oh, people really liked my t-shirt, so I'm glad I wore this one. And I was like, yeah, I think you got way more compliments than I even got. And my partner then pointed out to me, well, no one said anything to you, but a lot of people were staring at you. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, every dude we walked past was staring at you. They just didn't say anything to you, probably because you were walking with me. But people noticed. And I was like, oh, because those are things that I don't think about. If you're not saying it to me, I don't know that it exists. I don't know, it's a weird thing, but so it's just really interesting to me that everyone seems to be choosing to verbalize these things to me right now, and I'm going to tell you why, because I've been doing a lot of work around that and around support and feeling supported. I know that a lot of you support me, but other things going on in my head and other fears and blockages that I have sometimes try to make me forget that. And so I feel like working with the universe a lot recently on, no, I am loved and guided and supported, and reaffirming that to myself. A lot of you are also verbalizing support coming out of that. So I do feel like that in some ways, all of you choosing to do this at one time is a result of me doing this work. And that's fantastic. It feels awesome. So what I'm being called and told to share with you today, I know I'm taking forever to get to it, but I felt like that background was necessary, is that I have a job now. It is a full-time job, and it is this. This is my full-time job. I quit my day job last year. I told you all about it. You've been through this journey with me since that point, and you heard me mention in my year in review video that I, for a while, had to go to a part-time job to help pay bills, and by the end of the year I was thinking I'm really going to have to go get a full-time job working for other people, again, in order to support myself. Financially, I am still in that place, But what I need to tell you and what I am doing in my life and what I'm being called to do is to say, no, no more giving up and running back to the employment of someone else and giving up what I love to do. What I'm doing is this. This is what I'm going to do. This is my full-time job, and as McKenna told me, I need to start thinking of it as my full-time job and remember that it is, you know? When people ask me, did you find a job yet? Yes, I have a job. I've had this job for years, and what I'm doing is finally taking it seriously and finally putting forth the effort and the energy that it takes to do this. And is it a struggle? Yes. Are there a lot of fears and blockages that are coming up and making me feel horrible and that I'm working through and releasing and deleting from my existence because they no longer serve me? Yes. Am I going to do this? Yes. Hell yes. So I needed to tell you that. And I also wanted to say that I got a comment on the previous video where I showed you some Befana magic and some stuff that I do around Befana's day, which happens to also be Epiphany, just the kind of magic that I do. Someone commented, I really think you should consider doing this type of magic video more often. Well, I am really glad that you said that, because that is the kind of thing that I want to offer to people more. And I've talked about in the past how I was working on courses that I wanted to set up, and again, it's the perfectionist in me that if it's not completely right exactly the way that I think it's going to be, it's not done. I have been working on so many of them, y'all, and I just have put none of them out there, which doesn't serve me, and obviously doesn't serve you because you're not getting it, because I don't think they're done. And now it's like I don't have the proper platform. Now I'm considering changing platforms of how I'm going to get it to you, because I've started working with someone who does a very similar thing, so they've opened my eyes to these different platforms that can make it so easy for me, but I have avoided doing it in the past because I have to pay for these online services that will make it super duper easy, and I thought, like, I'm just going to do everything free for now and save up the money, but I'm realizing more and more that I really just have to invest a little bit. I'm going to have to invest a little bit. And again, there are fears around that. Money is a thing. But the more I look at it, the more I'm like, wow, this is exactly what I need to do the kinds of things that I've been working on in a way that will easily get them to people and easily create that energy exchange. So I'm really glad to hear that at least one of you out there was really excited about that kind of video, because that is the kind of thing that I do, and it's the kind of thing that I've never wanted to share to the general public, except on rare occasions. I've done some videos in the past about types of spells that I do. I've done flower spell affirmations for you, things like that, but I don't do a lot of that. I don't do a lot of just putting out my private work, but that's because I'll be doing it in some different ways. So I'm very excited that even just one person is excited about that, and I will always be doing stuff on this channel for free, for sure, and if you are sponsoring me on Patreon, that is sponsoring this work that goes to the general public for free. That is supporting those things that I already put out, that I've been putting out for a long time, and if you are a Patreon sponsor, you get some extra things just kind of behind the scenes. Is kind of like, okay, you're supporting this stuff that's already being done, so here's more of that process and here's more of what goes into that for me. Now, if you're currently sponsoring me on Patreon, or if you go and look at it right now, ignore it, because one of the things on my to-do list is that I am completely refreshing everything that's going on that page. I'm going to work on my goals so they actually reflect what I'm doing and things that are actually attainable, and I am refreshing the rewards so that there will actually be some pretty cool things that I'll put up, you know, and it might be like I'll do a spell for you, not for you, but you know what I mean, like I might talk about a certain type of spell and do a little tutorial video on it, and it'll go up, and maybe a certain tier of sponsorship, you get something like that every month, something like that. It might be doing some card readings for you. It might be, you know, a talk or a private live stream or something. I'm working on how to figure all that stuff out too. So I'm just working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes that normally I would not tell you about, but I was told to tell you about today. So I really wanted to do a topic video today, but they were like, no, just give an update. You need to tell your audience this so that they're informed. Hello again. My camera battery died. Even though it said I had a full battery when I started, I just made sure that it is now fully 100% charged up, not just like 75%. I have taken a shower now, so you get the like dirty, dusty, I've been cleaning around my apartment for a couple days version of me, as well as fresh and clean and fluffy version of me. My hair is going to poof as this video progresses. I'm actually not going to add very much more to this video. I started to say something else when the camera shut off, so I feel like maybe that means don't keep rambling about that thing. So basically the point of this video this week was just to get that information out to you, let you know kind of what's going on, where I'm at, what I've been working on, and I just realized I didn't put my necklace back on. And just to let you know that there will be some new things happening, and I can't exactly give you a timeline on that, but hopefully at least some things should be happening really soon. I'd like to get the groundwork laid out really soon, and then we can keep building from there. And I will obviously, of course, be really interested in some feedback from you all about, not necessarily in this video, but I'm saying in the future I will ask in specific ways. There might be polls. I like polls. You all know I did a survey recently, and then I found out that I have to pay to be able to see any responses beyond the first 100, which I didn't realize when I first started it. So someone else actually gave me another option for another place that I could do surveys, and some others of you have mentioned places that I could do surveys that would be unlimited or at least give me more options. So I'll be looking into all of that kind of stuff. I haven't even looked at the results from the current survey yet once I reached 100 because I was so frustrated that I wouldn't be able to see more than 100 unless I pay. But I will figure it out, and I will be using the information that I gleaned from that survey to figure out kind of some things that are interesting to people. I was already learning some things just by some of the answers that I saw about, most of you are this, or a lot of you maybe don't understand this. So I'll be doing more stuff like that, more things to actually get some direct feedback from you about what's going on in your lives, what's the thing that you need to work on most right now, and you'll get to see me do more of my work as priestess, which usually is only reserved for people who meet me in real life and get to work with me one-on-one. I'm trying to find ways to bring that to you in a way that's comfortable for me and that serves the world. So that's really what I'm doing. I'm really excited about it. I'm doing a lot of work around that, and I am obviously not going to have time or the inclination to fit the other subject into this video, so maybe I'll just leave that for next week's video. So I already know what I'll do next week, unless something else pops up, which is really nice. So I'll work on that. It will be related to energy work, so there might be some examples. It'll be a lot of talking as well, but it might be a little example. So thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time, and until then, don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye. I forgot to mention also, you will notice the information in the description of my videos has now changed. I've changed some wording and made it a little bit more obvious what those links are for those of you who might not know what I was talking about when I just wrote one thing and then put a link there. So it's a little more descriptive now. And I have put a couple of new things on my Etsy shop within the past week, and will be posting more things very soon because I did a big photo shoot and took pictures of a bunch of stuff recently. So keep an eye on that, and make sure you're following me on the social media of your choice so that you can hear more stuff. Thanks, have a good one.